Good morning, everybody. I am Basavash Kuruche. Today we would be starting with our business law subject. Now, as we discussed in previous class, today it would be module number 1, video number 3. The topic today we would be discussing is sources of Indian law. Along with that, some introduction to the contract, meaning of contract, and what are the things involved in contract. What do exactly we mean with contract, and small little basic concepts like acceptance, offer, and other things. So we'll begin. Now, once again, we will just throw light on scope of commercial or business law. Now here, the scope means in last class we have discussed that law of contract deals with any agreement which may be in particular or general with the individuals belonging to this society and also of various commercial activities. Now here law of contract deals with all those commercial activities wherein any contract, any offer, any acceptance is there or exists with offer, acceptance and enforced by law, then it comes under contracting. So here each and every business has some or the other activity going on with contract. So therefore this business law covers all those contract activities. Then next is law of sale of goods. Now here every industry or every organization tries to maximize its sales to gain more and more profits. So when they are trying to do these sales, at that point of time certain set of rules and regulations which govern them, and those rules and regulations which are governing them need to be understood, and business law throws light on these areas. Next, economic and other legislations. These are terms it is termed also as a general law which deals with both the business and the society. Now when the customers are there, they are the main players in the market, wherein if we satisfy the customers, we will be surviving in the market. So for that, what are the rules, general law which deals with both business as well as society, where the set of rules and regulations will be there. What are their duties, what are their rights, obligations for any category. It may be a seller or it may be a buyer. For each person, what are their rights, what are their duties, all such kind of things will be explained here. Now, in this basic scope of law, we have seen only 3 points which throws light or which are the wider aspects of business law. Now, in any business, if you see, there will be first thing contract, either it may be with suppliers or it may be with other companies, etc., etc. And next thing it would be with related to sales. When they are selling those goods and services, at that point of time, there are certain set of rules and regulations which govern them. And after that, economic and other legislation. In general, we can say it as general law. So these general law deals with what are the rights, duties, obligations of the purchaser or seller, or in the society, certain set of general rules and regulations which exists for all category of people. So business law throws light on these areas. Now we will move on to the sources of Indian law. Sources of Indian law means we can say that from where this Indian law or business law, it may be contract law, common law, mercantile law, whatever it is, all these things have certain set of basis. In that, first thing we can say is the English mercantile law. Now, in English mercantile law, one 5 marks question may be there in your subject, saying what are state the sources of Indian law or what are the sources of Indian law. At that point of time, first thing we have is English or mercantile law. In that, law of mercant, wherein it says that Indian mercantile law is adopted or based upon the English mercantile law. The various statutes comprising mercantile law are mainly based upon the English law. where Indian law is silent or a point wherein most of the things have been covered from English or English mercantile law. Then second thing is common law. Now here common law or common custody are those customs or those beliefs which are followed in the trade or which are followed in the business activities. So these common laws, common practices, what the traders used to practice, all those common practices have been involved here. It may be from barter system, it may be from after that the coin system. All those certain set of common rules and regulations or common laws have been considered here while framing the Indian law or mercantile law. After that we have equity. Equity means here what all rules related to the capital, equity, all those rules and regulations have been adopted in Indian mercantile law. After that we have statute law. Statute law means any act or any law which has been approved in both the houses in India. Both the houses means lower house, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Both the houses need to be approve that law or approve that act, and then it becomes a statute law. This thing is also considered as a main source of Indian law. After that we have certain set of case law. Case law means it is law given effect by court of law. Suppose some court has given some judgment or it has tried to enforce certain set of rules and regulations, those laws are also considered as a source of Indian law. Now previously you all might have seen during Deepavali and other festivals we used to fire crackers, but for that Supreme Court brought some guidelines, or maybe during New Year also continuously you all cannot fire the cracker. For that it has brought certain set of rules and regulations for that. Likewise, whatever the courts give as a law or any judgment, it is also considered here. Second, here again in statute law we have two most important aspects, that is judicial decisions or the system of precedents. Now here the judicial decisions given by any court, it may be, suppose when I am fighting in a court, I will give reference of previous judgments given by some judge in some other court. Why I give those references is to make my side stronger side or to save my client. So at that point of time the judgments given by other courts are also considered here. Next, after that, customs and usages. There are certain customs, there are certain beliefs. All those customs and beliefs in India have been considered here while framing this law. Now what happens, suppose I am in a business and I am in continuous sales or I am in continuous contract with some other party, and at that point of time if some party, either it may be me or other party, if we break that contract or if we break that agreement, at that point of time we may go to court. Now in court, they court call as by name Basavaraj Johar or some other company name. Now here what they call it as mainly two names, that is plaintiff and defendant. Plaintiff means a person who has framed the complaint or who has given the complaint. I will repeat once again. Plaintiff means a person who has framed the complaint or who has given the complaint, and defendant is one person who has, say, who is defending himself. Suppose if somebody has complained me and suppose Vinayak Patil has complained on me and I am defending myself in court, saying that I have not done anything like that way and I am innocent. So what I am doing, I am defending myself. So I will be defender and Vinayak, who has complained against me, he will be a plaintiff. these two words are very important in courts. In any judgment or any agreement, you will see mostly in judgments that these two common words they will be using, that is plaintiff and defendant. So remember these two most important things or two most important words. Now we will move on to some of the laws, or some of the law of this nature which are termed as acts. Some of the laws which are acts, and we are following them in our day-to-day business activities. As per the Indian government rules and regulations, we are supposed to follow certain set of rules and regulations or some acts which have become a law. So in that, first one is the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. Now here this act is related with monopolies. Monopoly means single seller. Now if a single seller is there, he has whole control over the market. So at that point of time, what are certain rules? How a monopoly thing can be restricted? Because if there is a monopoly, they will say misuse the monopoly and they may charge high and exploit the customers. So at that point of time, for restriction of these, Indian government has brought the Monopoly and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. After that, when we are having some industry or some organization and we are harming to the nature, at that point of time, to protect that, Indian government has brought the Indian or the Environmental Protection Act. Okay, this act has been brought in 1986. Now we need to protect our nature, our environment. So for that purpose, this act is there. After that, we have the Parents Act 1970. Then we have the Sikh Industrial Companies Special Provision Act 1985. Sikh industry means the industries which are not performing well and they are about to close. At that point of time, these Sikh industries also need to be monitored. Otherwise, here the board of directors may misuse the company assets and all. So for that purpose, the Sikh Industrial Companies Act 1985 has been brought into place. And next, one more important act. Customer is the king of market. As we all believe that customer is the king of market, so we need to protect that king. If we are not protecting that king, we will not be surviving in the market. So with that intention here, the Indian or the Consumer Protection Act 1986 has been brought in, wherein to protect these consumers or protect these customers, there are certain set of rules and regulations. Why? Because when we are packing some products, whether we are maintaining all the standards or not, whether this product has its all components given in a proper way. For example, if I am purchasing wafers, for example, we will take Lay's. If I am purchasing Lay's, they will mention net weight, whether the packet contains that much net weight, whether it has been printed that what all things are being contained, proteins, energy, whatever things are there, it need to be mentioned on that. After that, the most important thing is MRP and expiry date. Expiry date, whether I am purchasing this product or no, at that point of time, this product or this product has all these descriptions so that the customer or the consumer is protected and it is not we are not exploiting any consumer. So with that intention, the Consumers Protection Act 1986 was brought in place. Then we had the Securities Contract or Securities Regulation Act 1956. Securities means your all the shares, debentures, everything will be considered. For protection of these shareholders or the securities, this act was brought in. After that, we have the Foreign Exchange Management Act. We have Foreign Exchange Management Act means here when we are trading internationally, at that point of time we need to exchange our Indian rupee into foreign currency, or it may be in dollars, euros, etc., etc., pounds, etc. At that point of time, for managing this also we have the Foreign Exchange Management Act. So these are some of the most important acts which have become the laws, or which have become the rules which will be, or which have been followed by the Indian companies or Indian business people. So that's it in today's class. Tomorrow we will be again seeing with our other parts. Today we have seen the sources of Indian law, then some important acts which have become the law in the long run. Now with this we will stop here. Tomorrow we will be again discussing with our rest part of, or we will be beginning with the Indian Contract Act, which is the most important thing, and maximum case study and other things will be coming from your first chapter, wherein it is depending upon the Indian Contract Act. Okay, thank you, good day.